these folks are for Vice President, Ms. Victoria Anglin, for, hi Victoria, for Secretary, Ms. Emily Cox, for Treasurer, Ms. Jessica Woodside, and for Assistant Secretary, Sandra Powell. And folks were kind enough to nominate me for president again. And I certainly appreciate the confidence and the trust that the members of the community made in nominating me and in voting for all of the officers and, for the Civic Club. So community, we appreciate the trust that you're placing in us, and we want to let you know that we will do the best job that we can to represent our community and our community organization to promote the highest quality of life that we can for all of the members of our community. So thank you, candidates, and thank you, members of the community who elected us. Okay, so let me get into to the agenda. One thing that we wanted to do this evening is to recap the good things that we think have occurred in the neighborhood this past year. And, because I believe all have worked diligently to try to make good things happen. We want to let you know of our successes, and we want to solicit from each of you, members of the community, your ideas and your priorities for us going forward for this year and into the near future. So one of the first items on the agenda has to do with security in the community. And one major security item that the Belvedere Park Neighborhood Association implemented, and as a matter of fact, it was the very first initiative that the BPNA proposed, was a neighborhood security patrol. There are many other neighborhood security patrols around us, and we wanted to have one as well. I had the wonderful opportunity of working with the members of the BPNA and members of our community from the very inception of the security patrol. And currently in both the White Oak Hills neighborhood and the Belvedere Park neighborhood, we have 68 members that pay a subscription each year so that we can hire an off-duty DeKalb County police officer to patrol in our neighborhood. The police officer wears his uniform. The police officer patrols in a DeKalb County vehicle. And during his patrol, this police officer has full law enforcement authority. And this past year, 2022, our security patrol officer patrolled for us approximately 450 hours in the community. And some of the things that he did during this time was he did community-oriented policing. By that, I mean, during his patrol, whenever he had the opportunity, he would stop, get out of his police vehicle, and talk to people that were walking their dog in their in our community, that were pushing their stroller, that were out, just exercising, getting exercise. And during the conversation that the officer had, he would ask members of our community what were some of the concerns that they had. What are some of the obvious illegal activities that they have been able to observe. So the members of our community were providing intelligence to our security officer. Whenever our officer made an arrest, he was not able, because of right of privacy issues, to let us know about these things. But we were told that whenever the officer observed what he considered to be a problem or a potential problem, he again would use community-oriented, proactive type of actions to, like, talk to the person, let the person know that that he is patrolling in our neighborhood, to let everybody know that there is dedicated police presence in our community. And whenever this patrol officer was patrolling for us and a 911 call came in from our community, he was one of the first, well, I think he was probably always the first officer to respond to the 911 call. So these are some of the actions that our patrol officer has taken for us during the past year. Does anyone have any questions or any comments about this? If you do, raise your hand, and hopefully Sandra or Victoria will be able to see and let us know. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like that there are any questions. We certainly want to encourage all of our citizens to become a member of the Neighborhood Security Patrol. I will let you know this. As I just learned this today. The city of Decatur, their Decatur Development Authority, which is kind of like the business organization for the city of Decatur, unfortunately, they don't believe that they are getting enough police support from the city of Decatur. And they are going to implement their own Decatur Security Patrol. They are going to hire off-duty police officers, even including DeKalb County police officers. So I am concerned that we may not have a neighborhood security patrol officer for long, because according to the article that I read, the Decatur Development Authority, the businesses in Decatur, they are going to be paying $65 per hour for an off-duty police officer to patrol. And unfortunately, our security patrol, we are only able to pay our officer $35 per hour. Our officer could leave us and go work for the Decatur Development Authority and double his income. And so I just wanted to let y'all know about this particular item that may become a problem for us in the near future. Does anybody have any questions or comments about this? Okay, well,
I have a question. Um,
okay,
so you've listed the current number of subscribers to the security patrol. If that number is increased with more subscriptions, will we be able to pay our officer more to maybe negotiate with him or to get more hours from a different officer?
those are very, very good questions. And those are questions that, um, you know, in the near future, I wanted to have a meeting with all of the current security patrol subscribers and ask them what we should do. Uh, Hopefully the answer is, should we raise the cost for our subscribers, or will that, you know, kick a lot of people out? Currently, um, our neighbors are paying $200 per year to participate in the security patrol, unless you are a senior citizen. And senior citizens can participate um, for $100 per year. And why don't I stop, because I see Jessica has her hand up. So, Jessica, why don't you go ahead and ask your question, please?
More of a comment than a question. I mean, other than the fact that it sounds like Decatur is going to be paying their security patrol officers, I mean, significantly more. Uh, is there Are there any other indications that this is going to become a problem for us? I mean, I can't imagine that there won't be somebody on the DeKalb police force who won't, be able and willing to work for what we're able to pay. Because it's not like they're going to hire every single off-duty officer in DeKalb County and city of Decatur, right?
Yes, yeah, that is absolutely correct. Um, and hopefully, we have tried to work positively with our security patrol officer, um, and maybe he will not be um, allured away by actually, just almost doubling the salary. And maybe um, crime is not so much a problem in our community as it is in downtown Decatur. And let me give you a couple of examples. The uh, the business organization, the Decatur Development Authority, their business association, said that their employees were afraid, of if they were working late at night, they were afraid to walk to their vehicles, to get in their vehicles after work. And so their security patrol, would be offering escort assistance from where a person works, to their vehicle. But I'm sure that there are so many people getting off work that uh, one or two police officers are not going to be able to escort everybody. Um, but another major problem in Decatur is what they call aggressive panhandling. Somebody being very, very aggressive, um, and almost demanding that you give them money. So this was another problem that they said that they needed more police officers, and the city of Decatur said, we're sorry, we just can't get more police officers, um, to come to work for us. So um, the number, or the lack of a number of police officers, is a problem everywhere. So, Jessica, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to be aware of the fact that City of Decatur is going to be doing this, but as Therese just commented, from what he read, they're only going to be hiring officers for certain days, certain times, that kind of thing. So good to be aware, but I don't know that I wouldn't worry too much about it unless it actually becomes a problem for us.
Yes, thank you. That's a very good observation. Okay, let me mention another thing that we are doing in our community to really try to increase the cooperation between our community and the DeKalb County South Precinct, and that is the South Precinct offers 3 meetings per month in which they are requesting community input. They're trying to get into the community to just interact positively with the community. And that's one of the items is Coffee with a Cop. And I can see that Loretta Evans and Poe Mack are 2 of the folks that accompany me to Coffee with a Cop. This is a once per month event, and we get to meet with the police officers and with the precinct commander, and we get to talk to them about the crime problems in our community. And so, this is one method that we are doing to try to improve the coordination between the police and our neighborhood. So I want to say thank you, Loretta. Thank you, Poe, and also Mr. Dustin Reese that's on the meeting this evening. He also has attended the Coffee with a Cop meetings, with us, and also John and Gwen Morton in our community. They have also participated in several of these events. Another community outreach that the South Precinct offers is Major's Night Out. And a lot of us try to go to Major's Night Out as well. And I need to wrap this up because we need to move forward, more. And I hope that I don't sound boastful. I do not want to brag, but let me show you something that the South Precinct gave to us. Just one second, please. Let me pick it up. This is, I don't know if you can see it or not. Good. Destin says he can. I didn't know about this. This is a plaque that the South Precinct awarded, well, to me, but I don't think that it was to me only, because as I said, several folks attended with me many of these events. And so I think that the Belvedere Park community is recognized by the DeKalb County police officer very, very clearly. They understand that the Belvedere Park community is a big supporter for the positive things that they are doing. So just wanted to let y'all know about that. And Jessica, I think you had your hand up again. Did you need to say something?
No, I was just applauding for you, Wayne.
Oh, thank you. Well,
you're welcome.
Well, thank you to everybody. But, I just want to say that, I believe that it was a group effort. It wasn't just me, because, I've named several. Oh, when you start naming names, you leave people out. Victoria has attended these events also. And Victoria even brought one of her sisters with her to one of the events. So You see, I started naming names and I left some people out. I apologize about that, Victoria, and other folks who have attended. But our community has been well represented, before the DeKalb County Police Department. And other things that we have done for almost 20 years, for 2 decades, the Belvedere Civic Club has sponsored a national night out against crime. And we intend to do that again this coming August. And I believe that the Belvedere Civic Club and members of the Belvedere community were the only civic or community organization that gave the South Precinct or any other DeKalb County Police Precinct an appreciation luncheon during the National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And these are all things that our community has been doing, not only this past year, but for many years in the past. So, and I think that we want to continue to do these things to demonstrate to the police department that any services that they give to our community are appreciated. And these are things that we really want to happen. Now, is there any input from anybody in the community? Okay, well, let's move on. There's a lot that we need to talk about. The next thing that we wanted to discuss are improvements that we are trying to do in our community. And one of the things that we have done, that we have been working on for several years, not just this past year, but for
Wayne, may I interject?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and take this piece.
Okay, good. Do it.
So I'm the chair of the community improvement and community, community improvement. So we've been working on the Friends of Shoal Creek Park. We started the Friends of Shoal Creek Park group back in 2015. And that kind of fell through, I guess, due to my having to work full time and wasn't able to take that on. And then in 2020, when things shut down, I revisited that and we opened up the Friends of Shoal Creek Park 1 and began efforts to do a park visioning plan. And we wound up getting the park visioning plan grant, where we got the assistance of several park landscape architects. And we also invited Shoal Creek Park 2 and Shoal Creek Park 3 and into that effort. And we ended up at the end of last year with a comprehensive plan for all 3 parks. And that can be found on Park Pride's website in conjunction with Park Pride. We have gotten the plan through to be in front of the commissioners right now. The plan right now has not been approved, but it is in front of the commissioners. After that, Wayne was instrumental in towards the end of last year in applying for a Park Pride grant for a large grant. The grant was a total of $50,000, half of which we have to raise or get a match. So we have to get a match for $25,000. And we worked with Parks and Rec, DeKalb County Parks and Rec, in order to get that moved forward. And what we ended up getting and what they agreed to was doing a portalette station, which is kind of like a upscale porta potty bathroom at the White Oak end of the park. Because that was one of the things that most park goers were saying. There were no bathroom facilities on that end. And we had witnessed, or we had seen, a portalet station at one of the other parks that was developed by Park Pride, and we went after that. And we are supposed to be getting that, or we will have to have that taken care of, up and running by the end of this year. The DeKalb County Parks and Rec has that proposal, and the proposal is now in front of Commissioner Cochran Johnson and Commissioner Larry Johnson for that other half, that $25,000 match. And we were told that we would be given that by the commissioners. And then, because of all of the hard work that Wayne Powell did, he was awarded, or he was nominated and awarded for Park Pride's 2023 Inspiration Award for all of the work that he does for the park. And he received that. You could see a very lovely YouTube video about his efforts on the Belvedere Civic Club YouTube channel. So moving on, in April of 2022, we hosted our Earth Day cleanup. That was with Park Pride as a partner. We had over 50 volunteers. We did some river cleanup and some invasive removal, clearing out the Eastwood entrance and removing mud from the sidewalk over on that side of the park if you're walking through that park. And on April 22nd, which is this Saturday, we will be having a second park Earth Day cleanup. And that effort was led by Jessica Woodside in conjunction with Inter-Atlanta Football Club, who is our park's neighbor. They will be providing some volunteers, and we will do the same thing. We will clean up the river, do some invasive removal, and just try to get the cleanliness of the park up and running, or up and going. In 2022, in July, we had the Watermelon Feast. This is, I think this was the first one that we've had since the pandemic, but it's an event that we've been hosting for many, many years here in Belvedere Park. And we had a wonderful turnout. And we will be doing that, of course, again this year. We were able to hang out with neighbors, meet with friends, had some watermelon and snacks, and we had a raffle for a Belvedere Civic Club t-shirt and mug. And then in September of last year, we did the Rivers Alive cleanup. We had about 5 or 8 people show up for that cleanup, but we got a lot of stuff done. We got tires out, we got unfortunately, out of our river, we got wire, we got some glass, cans, grocery bags, and tons more things that shouldn't be in our water supply, but we got it removed. And from year to year, I would say each activities that we've done with the river, that the cleanup, I think, has gotten better. The first year we had pulled out grocery carts and just insane amount of things. Old toilets. I remember there was a 1970s toilet that we pulled out. Yeah, it was quite, I don't want to say impressive, but it was disgusting. And then, so we're going to be having that again this year, September 16th, 2023, Rivers Alive cleanup. And because of our efforts in the Rivers Alive, I think we've done it for several years. We are going to receive the 2022 Rivers Alive Georgia Club Award this April 27th. And last but not least, at the end of last year, we hosted our first annual candy and costumes, or trunk or treat, event. And we did that in the park on the other side of Glenwood, on the Glenwood side of the park. And it was a huge success. The kids came out. I would say in Belvedere Park, we've had very little patrons of trick or treat candy coming door to door. And this making it at the park with cars decorated, and us wearing our little outfits and handing out the candy, we had quite a few trick-or-treaters, and it was great. And I think the more we do it, the bigger the event will get. And that concludes November and in November and December we take a break. That concludes all of our stuff as far as community improvement, community engagement, and are there any questions? All
I
right.
I
Thank you so
just
much.
I just want
Uh-oh.
to comment that, we had, as the Belvedere Civic Club, were not able to fully engage in community activities during the height of the pandemic. And I just want to say that I personally was really impressed and inspired by the community who still came and participated in our virtual monthly meetings. And when things started calming down a bit, we weren't sure if we would receive participation, but we started holding outdoor events. Instead of just monthly meetings online, and we would have these events outside, and dozens of people would show up. And it wasn't just because they wanted to get out of their home, because we asked them to do some really hard work, and the community showed up. I think that that is a testament to the pride, the love, and the community unity that this neighborhood has. So I'm very proud to be a part of the Belvedere Civic Club.
And may I offer a couple of improvements that uh, that I have seen. I see that Therese is also on the the meeting this evening. I would like to express my appreciation to Therese for the job that he has done in organizing community cleanups, especially up there in front of the mural, the entrance mural. And Therese, thank you, for your effort. And I am sorry that I was not able to be there every single time, that you offered a cleanup, but there were just so many other things going on. And but I believe that Therese's effort and everybody else, who participated with Therese did a very, very good job at, cleaning up the community. And that has been an ongoing effort. And let me give you just quickly a couple of things that I think that our communities have worked to make happen. Number one is the Valor Tower townhome development that's going in on Memorial Drive, right at the extreme northwest corner of our community. I think both the Belvedere Park Neighborhood Association and members of the Belvedere Civic Club worked cooperatively to ask questions and to, we think, get improvements. But of course, the people at Valor Tower, it seemed like that they were willing to work with us. And as y'all can see, work finally was able to begin. The pandemic, we are told, caused delays, and people from our community rallied and tried to support the Valor Tower development, because we wanted to see four derelict, blighted structures right there in our, right at the edge of our community, to be removed and replaced by this, development. Unfortunately, at the very beginning, they had a big rainstorm right when they were, moving dirt, and a lot of sediment flowed into our community. That was unfortunate. I don't say this to condone what they did, but me taking a look at what they did, they complied with what DeKalb County required them to do. I could see that myself. And and they even did more to comply. But unfortunately, this was a massive, massive rainstorm that hit, and it caused a problem for our community. That is regrettable, but it is commendable that 4 blighted properties are removed from our community. And it was because of the input from our community. So thank you for everybody who worked, to get this blight removed from our community. And there are other things that are improvements. Victoria, would you like to talk about the Dunkin' Donut?
Oh, absolutely. So we were able to have input on whether or not a SLUP, what is that? SLUP, what does that mean?
Special land use permit.
Special. I couldn't think of what the S was. Special land use permit for Dunkin' Donuts to have a drive-through in order to replace the already existing drive up situation that they had at the blighted Sonic location, which is between the Chevron and Checkers near Memorial Drive. So that will soon become Dunkin' Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a meeting with the Hess gas station owners wanting to have a special land use permit or a special permit or in order to move back their easement lines in order to build a live, work, play area. They had something like about 5 townhomes that they wanted live, work, play in. We have not heard how that has gone. They did come to the community for some, I guess, support, but we have not met with him, that owner, again, on the Hess gas station. The Citgo, the Chico Mart, the former blighted situation up on Rupert and Memorial has, if you've noticed, it's been starting to be upgraded, and it is now Belvedere Express. They have been working diligently on trying to get that open. It was supposed to be open this past summer, but they've run into some issues with asphalt. But it is the Mustafa, the owner, has been very commendable in working with the community, and he does not want what's going on at his location to go on there, and he has made every effort to try to squash that kind of stuff, the kind of activities that are going on that way. So let me
Is
think what
there
else.
a chance we could pause for just a moment to address some of the questions people are putting in chat?
Yes, let's do that. Thank you.
Okay,
Sam.
so the first question is from Poe, and she asks whether or not people here feel that the incidents of gunshots and car thefts and break-ins are getting worse in the area. Does anyone have any input on that? And Dad, you may have some figures or at least some anecdotal knowledge about escalation or de-escalation of crimes of that sort.
Well, I think that recently we had spring break and kids were out of school. Both the DeKalb County Police Department, Parks and Recreation, they tried to have special camps, to get kids occupied, to keep them off the street during spring break. And, it may have helped, but unfortunately, you only need a few, bad actors to cause some problems. Whenever we go to Coffee with a Cop, they have told us that most serious crimes in DeKalb County have been going down. They've been reduced. But but I have not been able to take a look at the the data myself. I wouldn't know how to analyze it, but Poe, I think that the answer is we have next door, we have other means of communications today that we did not have, many years ago. And so these incidences can be broadcast much more quickly and much more widely than in the past. So I would hope that the DeKalb County Police Department is correct when they tell us that the incidence of severe crimes are diminishing in DeKalb County. Does that answer your question? I hope.
And Poe also wanted a reminder of the number of subscription members to the Security Patrol.
Currently, we have 68 members. We really need a lot more, unfortunately.
Okay.
And
Can you tell
because-
the cost of the can you tell what the subscription cost is for that?
Yes. For senior citizens, it's $100 per year, or it can be paid quarterly or semi-annually. For people that are not senior citizens, the cost is $200 per year. And so far, what that has been able to give us is 450 hours last year, 450 hours of patrol time where it's just one guy, one patrol officer was cruising up and down our streets with his blue lights on. Now, not flashing, but, just the blue lights were illuminated so that as he is slowly driving through the community, anyone who cares to look would be able to see there's a police cruiser slowly driving through the neighborhood. And hopefully that'll do at least two things, for our good neighbors. They're going to see there's a police presence here, to deter crime. And to the bad actors, unfortunately, in our neighborhood, maybe it will dissuade them, knowing that there is a patrol car driving through the neighborhood looking for suspicious activity. And also, one of the things that we have asked the security patrol officer to do is always on his shift when he's working for us to always go to the parks, because it seems like that, unfortunately, that's where people go to shoot off their guns a lot. Victoria and I have been walking in the park, during cleanups and stuff, and we've had to pick up shells, spent shells off, in the driveway and the parking lot and other places, in the parks. So our security patrol officer, every time he comes on shift for us, goes to the park, and normally he does not issue citations. But let me quickly tell you about this.
Wayne, can you answer the question of how to become a member? And also, I just wanted to point out it's $6.55.
Okay. I would say if you want to become a member, thank you, Victoria. We'll move quickly. Okay. If you want to become a member, go to the Belvedere Park or go to the Belvedere Civic Club webpage, and it's just the words belvederecivicClub.org. Go to the support tab, and one of the items on that get involved or support tab is security patrol. If you click on that tab, it will take you to the to the page where you can join the security patrol.
And just quickly, Jessica has put the link to the Security Patrol in the chat, so please check that out if you're interested. And Dustin, you are unmuted. Did you have a question or a comment?
Oh no,
Or
I'm just unmuted.
oh no, that okay, that's fine. I just didn't know if you were doing that in preparation. And I do want to add to the Security Patrol topic really quickly. In addition to the two benefits that Mr. Powell has said, we have a a uniformed officer in the neighborhood should someone need help. If they call 911, we're not going to have to wait for 30 minutes for an available officer to come to our community to address it. They will call him first. So it could be a minute's response rather than, tens of minutes.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct.
Tens of minutes sounds optimistic.
I guess I'm an optimistic person.
I mean, I will say personally, Dustin, several years ago, I did unfortunately have a B&E, but yeah, the security patrol officer was at my house while the guy was still in my house.
Interesting.
So, he unfortunately was not able to catch him because he's not going to like start chasing, random people around by himself because that's not policy. But when I got home, he was like, "Do you have lights on timers?" And I said, "No, why?" "Oh, because there were lights turning off and on when I got here." So thankfully he got to my house within 15 minutes. And, obviously that wasn't a fun situation, but because he was there so quickly, the person who broke into my house went right back out the window again and actually didn't take anything, which was nice.
Okay.
So it is possible, but yeah, if the security patrol officer isn't in our neighborhood, the response time is not great.
Thank you, Jessica. And were there other questions, Sandra, and we really need to move forward?
No more questions, I believe, unless someone wants to interject. I believe we can move on to the next item.
Okay. And Dustin, did you get your question answered about where those properties were?
Yeah, once they mentioned that they were the 4 on Memorial Drive where the new townhomes are going up, I remembered what used to be there, so we're good.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, so let's see. Let me just, in the interest of time, let's try to move forward. I will forego a couple of things. Sandra, did you want to talk about any improvement on our webpage and the good things that are happening there?
Well, I did want to go over our communications. I am the chair
Okay.
of the Community Communications Committee. And so let me speak briefly about this. During the pandemic, the Belvedere Civic Club had the opportunity to really kind of get with the times and become digital. So we were able to create several platforms of communication directly with the community. We have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter page, and we have a YouTube page, a YouTube channel. And I would invite anyone to visit those things. We do capture a lot of public meetings that are held with, the community committee, who then, can go on to the permits department, on to our commissioners. Those are covered. We oftentimes do recaps of events. We put out our monthly meetings when we can on that channel. It's not a heavy populated channel, but it's a great place to go for information. In addition, we created the BelvedereCivicClub.org website, which is a warehouse for a vast amount of information. If you are interested in keeping up with news about the community, special events, special meetings, and things like that, that's really the place to go. So we have a couple of different sections you should be aware of. One is the community calendar. There you are going to find all of the most important. We can't fit everything in, but what you will find are official county meetings that are of import to our community, Belvedere Civic Club meetings, as well as community events, special, offers from like the Lou Walker Senior Center that can help caregivers or aging people in our community, different support structures that they can take part in, as well as the library. So we draw from a great source of information to kind of consolidate all of that information in one place, food drives and special events. Okay, and the next section is the news section, and this is where you're going to find important news that directly affects our community. These types of meetings, you'll always find posts about that with links to the Zoom meetings, links to county meetings, and stuff like that. We also have a directory that lists important official telephone numbers, how to get in touch with people, everything from downed power lines to reporting a stray dog. So I would invite everyone not only to participate in that information, taking part in getting that information, but I would like to give accolades to the Belvedere Civic Club for having such a robust website. Now, since the Belvedere neighborhood the Belvedere Park Neighborhood Association has folded into the Belvedere Civic Club, that means that these new members of the Belvedere Civic Club will be receiving our regular communications. Now, we do not inundate you with communications. We try to be very respectful of people's time and inboxes. So what we do is we put out one monthly newsletter, which has 3 or 4 items in it that are of the most important value, we hope, to our members. And that not just our dues paying members, just our regular contacts. That's one monthly e-newsletter, and then typically one monthly email or phone call communication, your choice, about some kind of important event that's coming up. That typically happens as soon as we get that information. So if there's a really important community meeting coming up, we'll put out an email or a phone call about that. Please feel free to go to our website to sign up for that mailing. We really do not inundate you with, useless information. Are there any questions about how we communicate or how often or what we provide? Okay. Well, that's it. I do just briefly want to mention to everyone, coming in to the Belvedere Civic Club, maybe for the first time, you can always opt out of communications. No problem. I will remove you from the list. You're not going to get unwanted communications from us. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Jessica said that she needs to drop out. Jessica, do you have just a minute more to, do you want to give any information about the upcoming Earth Day event? Jessica volunteered to take the lead on this. Thank you so much, Jessica. But if you don't have time, go ahead and drop out.
No, you're okay. You're okay. I was trying to be slick here, Wayne, and you just ruined it for me, but that's all right. Yeah, no, I just wanted to I put a link to the Nextdoor post that's promoting the event in the chat. But as Victoria mentioned, we're partnering with Inner Atlanta FC so that we are keeping up with our now annual tradition of having an Earth Day cleanup at Shoal Creek 1. We did set up a sign up genius with hour-long time slots. That was something that Inner Atlanta FC wanted to do. You know, it's a lot easier, I think, for them to get their members to commit an hour of their time, where I know we have neighbors like Mark Zettner, who I think spends his entire life cleaning up our neighborhood. So please feel free if you want to just sign up for an hour, or if you'd like to come for the whole cleanup from 9 to noon on Saturday morning. We're meeting on the White Oak side of Shoal Creek Park. And like Victoria said, we're going to focus on cleaning out the creek, you know, trying to tame some of the invasive plants there, and just spending some time together as neighbors. And if you have any tools, please bring them. Otherwise, you know, just bring yourself, and shoes that you don't mind getting wet. Rain boots are great for that. Work gloves if you have them, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.
Thank you, Jessica. See you Saturday. And thank you, for participating in the meeting so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. And just another item, as a fundraiser, the Belvedere Civic Club constructed Bluebird boxes. And if you're interested in buying a Bluebird box, these are very, very substantially constructed boxes. They are constructed according to the specifications, especially for bluebirds. And information is provided on the website for the different levels of expense for these bluebird boxes. And so if you care to help the Civic Club with a donation for one of these bluebird boxes, and if you want to help the bluebirds in our community, then we invite you to to go on the Civic Club website to the support and look at the bluebird boxes and see if you think you want to buy one. Also, the BPNA owl plaque that they have been doing, we intend to continue to support this owl plaque as a method of showing community cohesion and as a fundraiser method. And I think that we were talking about the money for the owl plaque to continue to go 100% into the security patrol, to help fund the security patrol. So those are a couple of things that are we are doing to help raise funds in the community. And now I think that that's all that we would like to go over for right now. We would like to know, are there other questions from the community? Are there other issues from the community that y'all believe we really need to try to address this coming year? I would like to open it up, to the community. So
Just quickly, let's address a posed question in chat. She
Okay.
has asked, any ideas about getting more neighbors involved? And I clarified, and she responded, both the security patrol and in the community, people getting to know one another.
Mhm.
I do think that it would be beneficial for us to think about some sort of a messaging plan for the security patrol Right now,
Mhm.
it's pretty passive. It's on the website. If you happen to browse it, it's there. Um, so we may need to do some sort of special communications about that. We could put out an informative video on our YouTube channel. We could make that a part of one of our monthly newsletters. In addition, with the community getting together, I am not sure what more ideas I have than our regular communications, inviting people to participate in community events, not just that we sponsor, but that are going on in our community. So
Mhm.
again, there is the calendar that talks about all kinds of special events that are coming up, not just the Belvedere Civic Clubs. But we
Mhm.
do host many annual events. The trunk or treat, the watermelon feast, National Night Out, many different cleanups, all kinds of social community events. So we just need to ensure that people are getting these types of communications. Now, Poe, I will tell you that regardless of the additional contacts that we have gotten from the BPNA members, the Belvedere Civic Club contact list is over 150 individual contacts. And when you consider that there are only 1,000 houses in Belvedere Park, that is, 15% of all of our neighbors have asked for us to communicate directly with them. As far as civic organizations go, I think that's a pretty high number.
Hmm. Okay, well, um, this is something that I have wanted to do. Um, I was doing it during the early days of the security patrol. Um, we have liaisons. I am a liaison from Belvedere Park, and we probably need another liaison from Belvedere Park. White Oak Hills has 2 liaisons, and whenever the security patrol officer comes on patrol for us, we give him an in briefing. You know, we look at next door, we find out if there are break-ins, we find out if there are um, burglaries to homes or break-ins to automobiles, things of this nature. And we let the officer know what's going on in the community. And at the end of a patrol, he gives us an end of patrol report. And I am so sorry that I have fallen down on this, but early on, I was able to transcribe. You know, it takes a lot of effort, and I'm not such a good typist, but I would transcribe the information that was flowing back and forth between the community liaisons and the security patrol officer, and letting the community know the results of his patrol. You know, like, yeah, I went to the park. There were 2 cars in the park. I approached them. I let them know that it's after dusk. It's against the law to be, in the park. And normally he did not write them a citation, just let them go, and hopefully enough times he does this, um, then he will. Hopefully, folks won't be coming back to the park and staying at nighttime. The patrol officer tells us about him approaching homeless people, giving them information about where warming stations are and where they can get social services if they want it. the officer is not allowed to transport people to the warming stations, but he can let them know about this so that they will have shelter. And again, the officer is not hauling them away to jail, but the officer is trying to use community-oriented policing, COP, in his patrol for us. And so I was able to transcribe, type, but it was extremely time consuming. And as my other responsibilities increased, I've just not been able to do that, any longer. I think that if we were able to do this, it would help the community be better aware of what our security patrol officer is doing for us. And, I'm just so sorry, I'm just one person, and hopefully you can hear all of the things, that Victoria and other people have said that we are doing continuously to improve the community. But it's hard to do it when there are so few of us that have the time to help. And just to give you an example, Emily couldn't be here tonight. Wasn't because she didn't want to be here. She had to go to a meeting in Tennessee, and Jessica had to drop off. She has another business related obligation, and I think someone said somehow a paycheck just gets in the way of us being able to do things, for the community.
We're all volunteers, and everyone
Yeah.
does the best that they can. The Belvedere Civic Club board has grown by 2 members. We have seen over the last 3 years, maybe as a result of the pandemic, but also as a result of greater community awareness, more and more participation in these events. So, you don't have to take this all on your own. I am sure that momentum is growing, and we'll be able to take care of this. Now, um, quickly to address something in the chat, Poe has said, can we communicate with the security patrol directly if we have break-ins, etc.? I can answer that. Poe, if there is ever an active crime, call 911. Right? That is the first step. If there is an active crime, you call 911 because it has to go through official police channels. 911 will act as a dispatch, and they will contact the closest available police officer. They are aware of the security patrol. They are aware of our officer on police patrol. So any active crime, I'm just going to make a blanket statement, call 911.
And he has his radio going, and while he's on patrol, and if he hears there's a problem, a 1087 or whatever, the police nomenclature is, on San Juan Drive, and if he's patrolling, he picks up his radio and says, I've got it. And so that is one thing that he is doing for us. But and it definitely increases the speed at which a police officer gets there. Just about a month ago, a neighbor in the White Oak Hills community on Nextdoor commented on how quickly the police officer got to her house after she reported a crime. And it was because our security patrol officer was on patrol at the time the 911 call came in, and he was there almost immediately. So Sandra is correct. If if a crime is going down, call 911. If if our patrol officer is in the community, he will be here faster than any other police will be able to.
Poe has also asked, are we getting reminders for paying dues, membership, and security patrol subscriptions? And as that's part of my communication duties, I'll answer that. The answer is yes, Poe, but since you're on that list and you're asking the question, I fear it might not be as effective as we had hoped. So we have sent out um, 3 communications since the beginning of the year. Dues for the Belvedere Civic Club. Again, it's $20 a year, y'all. $20 a year. No, and don't, she's like, sorry, I'm a question person. Don't be sorry. That's exactly why we held this meeting. It's $20 a year to be a member, and we're dues are kind of due at the beginning of the year, right? So we have put out communications. Now, it hasn't been specifically about that. There hasn't been one communication just about paying dues. Or now almost, correct me if I'm wrong here, Dad, but the people on security patrol, they're on a subscription. So that's going to happen annually. They don't need reminders, or quarterly, whatever they've signed up for. But as far as dues go, we have included that in 3 communications. But we've only had, 13 community members sign up, which is one of the reasons why we're having the Bluebird Box fundraiser. Now, I can't remember if you said this, Dad. You said that we would still be offering the owl plaques. That money does not go to the Belvedere Civic Club's bank account. That is being earmarked for the security patrol. So when you buy an owl plaque, that, it's not a subscription, but that one-time payment goes into that bank account to try and, up the hours. That's what the Belvedere Park Neighborhood Association started, and we would like to continue that legacy.
Yes.
So yes, it right now, the funds for the Belvedere Civic Club do not cover our annual operating expenses. And, board members typically just pay out of pocket. We pay for that ourselves. So if anyone hasn't paid their dues, please do, or gift a Bluebird box to someone. But we do appreciate all the support that we get from the community, and we hope that we're communicating well about our financial need without sounding greedy. We just do have an operational budget.
Thank you. And are there any other questions, or are there other issues that y'all think that for the coming year we should address?
I have a general question. So you mentioned earlier that I've seen the owl plaques around on different houses. I used to run the neighborhood a whole lot before I hurt my foot. I've recently started back up again, but I've seen the owl plaques around, and I was going on the website off to the side and I didn't see anywhere to get one.
Sandra, could we see about setting up the owl plaque on the Belvedere Civic Club website?
Absolutely. That is currently in works.
Yeah.
The elections for the Belvedere Civic Club and the merger between the BPNA and the Belvedere Civic Club really kind of culminated tonight, right? Like, this is the announcement of the elections. We have 2 former BPNA board members that have joined our board. So this is kind of something that's in progress. And we had not been able to nail down how we were going to be able to provide those plaques. That is about 90% of the way done. And Emily has been able to provide me with pictures and costs and what that process would look like, because it has to be separate from our normal donation or merchandise page that we have on the Belvedere Civic Club, because these funds are going to be diverted to a separate bank account or to a separate bucket, if you will. That has all taken some time to work out, but we're about 90% of the way there. So I'm really hoping that we will be able to have that front and center on our support page on our website within the next month.
And for my information, what exactly was the difference between the Civic Club and the Neighborhood Association before now?
No problem. So they are both civic organizations operating within the service area of Belvedere Park, right? The BPNA was started with their initial initiative was the security patrol, and it branched out from there. Some cleanups and a lot of community gathering things. The Belvedere Civic Club has been in service since 1956, so we have like a long history in the community. And you know what, Victoria, you are the first member from the BPNA that I am aware of to come to the Belvedere Civic Club. Would you mind fielding this?
Um, Let me think. How would I describe it? So when I moved here in 2013, there was an effort to create, I guess, a new organization that it was posed as it was for the security patrol, but then it turned out to be a competing organization with the Belvedere Civic Club. And so when I realized that that was happening, I wanted to make sure that I bridged the gap between the new, folks that were moving in and the people that were already here and established. And then through some efforts things just went, like more of the newer neighbors went towards the BPNA. We just decided that rather than splitting efforts, in the last few years, to join forces rather than splitting efforts and become a one and united community. If there's just too much work to do for two small handfuls of people to try to take on the same exact things. So when we got together, the two boards decided, hey, let's just merge and do this together. The legacy members and the newer residents. And so we think that going forward, one unified community organization would be the best thing to do.
All right, that makes sense.
Okay, thank y'all, everybody, for all of these questions. Are there other questions from the community? Are there other ideas that y'all have, for the community going forward? Well, this is only the beginning, folks. I see that it's 7:30, and we probably, this is our 2-hour segment. Even though we didn't get started until 6 o'clock, we've gone for an hour, at least an hour and a half for everyone, and some people have gone all 2 hours at this time. So if there are no further questions or input from the community, I want to say, community, thank you all so much for coming to this new combined meeting of the Belvedere Park Neighborhood Association and the Belvedere Civic Club. And we want to welcome all of the BPNA folks for joining us and helping. I am confident that our collaborative effort is going to greatly improve our ability to make good things happen in our community. And I just ask you to please remember the Earth Day celebration cleanup in Shoal Creek, at Shoal Creek Park 1 this coming Saturday. And if there are any, closing remarks or comments from the Civic Club board or from the Civic Club community, then we'll see about concluding this meeting.
I'd just like to say, as a Civic Club member and a member of the community, I'm very proud of this organization. I'm very proud to be a part of Belvedere Park. I'm very excited for where we're headed. Thank you to everyone for your involvement.
Yeah. We could not do it alone. And Victoria, you were wanting to say something, I think.
I was just saying thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone, for participating. We hope that y'all will have a wonderful evening and a happy life in Belvedere Park. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Loretta.